I think I'm gonna regret this one. Today is the day. I am a man of peace, but man, today, I feel like starting a fire. And today I asked you the question, what are the most overrated cars in car culture and why? I haven't read these yet. I'm very excited about it and let's see what we can do. And if I disagree with you, guess what? I'm gonna make a point. But don't worry, this is a place of peace. The internet would never be a place of vicious, toxic arguments, would it? Before we move on, I just want to thank today's sponsor, Upstart. If you really dread looking at your credit card statements, you are not alone. Debt can feel incredibly crippling, but Upstart can help you on your path to financial freedom. Upstart is a fast and easy way to pay off your debt with a personal loan all online. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 500,000 people have used Upstart to get one fixed monthly payment. In Upstart, they know you're more than just your credit score. Upstart considers your income and your current employment to help you find a smarter rate for your loan. Within a 5-minute online rate check, you can see your rate up front for loans between $1,000 and $50,000. And you can receive funds as soon as one business day after accepting your loan. So find out how Upstart can help you lower monthly payments when you go to upstart.com/blue. That's upstart.com/blue. Don't forget to use our URL to let them know we sent you. Go to upstart.com/blue. Corvette, still a bloated mess. The C8 is marginally better, and I think the C7 and C8 look nice, but they are not driver's cars. They go well in a straight line. That's it. What? Bro, that is ridiculous. The new Corvettes, especially the C7, has so much driver car in it. If you drive a manual C7, it's incredible, it's great, and especially the C7 ZR1. If you think that the C7 ZR1 can only go in a straight line, I got news for you. Also, I driven the C8 on track as well. The only thing I don't like about it is the brake-by-wire. I don't like the pedal feel in the brakes, but the C8 drives really incredible on track. It is a fantastic car on track.
No, he can drop me off now. Yeah, I'm good.
Just because it's American doesn't mean it doesn't handle. That is an ancient thing to say nowadays. Especially things like the GT500, the new one, you are smoking something if you don't think that car can handle. Mark IV Supra R34, 8 out of 10 people are gonna say one thing about the car because it was on Fast and Furious. Okay, I'm just gonna knock out the Mark IV Supra on this one and the R34 in particular, or just Skylines, because if you drive the 32 and 33, they're very similar when you drive them. The Mark IV Supra, it's its engine. Let's be real, like the looks of it are kind of neat. I love how the Supra looks, but it's kind of divisive. A lot of people don't like the look of the Supra because they think it's too bubbly and too big. They're also pretty heavy, believe it or not. A lot of people don't realize how heavy the Mark IV Supra is, but the 2JZ engine was its claim to fame because it was back halving people on the streets all the way back in the day on a website called streetfire.net. But basically, the Supra had this incredible street racing reputation, and not just because of the movies and the games. The car itself was found to be incredibly tunable, and that's amazing. Do I think that they're overrated? Yeah, but at the same time, not to the extent that a lot of people think so. The Mark IV Supra has its place in time. It has its place in the tuner scene. Do I think it's overblown? Yes. Do I think it should be completely dismissed? No, because for years, it was nearly impossible to beat a high horsepower Supra on the street at a roll race. It took big turbo GTRs and Lambos to beat them. Like, that's how far we came in order to beat the Supra on the street. Some of the stories I've heard from the old days on the street where these unstoppable Toyota Supras, like, that's a legacy that's way cooler in my opinion than the Fast and the Furious. Look, the R34, it was in the Fast and Furious movie, like you said. At the same time, it was a Need for Speed Underground, all that stuff. So it built up this reputation. But at the same time, people in other countries will tell you, they're like, yeah, it's an R34, I saw it every day, and like, it is what it is. It's a nice sports car, but it's not God mode. Just because the car came with or got swapped to an LS motor does not mean the car is good. A lot of the times, not all the time, but a lot of the times when you drive an LS swap car, you have this feeling of, I've been here before. And not that that's a bad thing, it's just that LS motors work so well for the most part. That's why they're so popular. I know they're played out, but there's a reason why they're played out. And there's another reason why in car culture, you don't see a lot of people be different. It's because there's formulas out there that work. And unfortunately, that's a lot of time the case. People say that a lot by Corvettes and Mustangs, Camaros. The reason there's so many of them is one, they're affordable horsepower, two, they work. And a lot of the times when you want to be different, I can say from experience, you're dumping money into a toilet and flushing it without even looking at it. And by the time you made it to the end, the car still barely works. Any Bugatti with the W16, it's a gigantic engine with 4 turbos that is just unnecessarily wasteful and heavy to make no more power than you could with just even a V8. Yeah, I think Koenigsegg has proved that point, so let's move on. Buick Grand National, it's an ugly POS that puts the ick in Buick. Sure, it might have been quick and ahead of its time, being turbo, but there's no way it would be worth what they're selling for these days. I don't understand what's to like about it today when there's so many better options out there. The reason that it has such a big legacy is because it went against the curve. It had a turbo engine, not a V8, and that's what made it really unique. And it had that stupid saying of, I don't need a V8, burr, 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 burr. I understand why they're becoming a collector car because of that change in history, because of that change in drivetrain that was, you know, everybody was like, why would you do that? Tesla should end. It started a trend for electric cars and now it's affecting gas and diesel car fanatics like us who want to enjoy their cars but are affected because of these useless laws coming out against cars. In truth, that's not what I hate the most. What truly makes me loathe the fact are the insufferable fanboys on planet Earth. You know what? I will go with that. I think a lot of the times it's not so much Tesla, but it's fan base. Unfortunately, they are hardcore and it's almost a cult-like level strangeness to it. I'm gonna be real with you. Elon Musk is not a perfect human being. A lot of people put him on this pedestal, but he's not. I'm sorry. He's done amazing things. There's incredible stories about how he created SpaceX, including going to Russia. Look it up, it's crazy. I will say, I think they are overrated. My good friend Jeff the other day made a joke. He said, I hate having conversations with non-car people about cars because all they want to say is, my dream car is a Tesla. And it's true. It's so true how they were able to have this mainstream wave of being cool because of big YouTubers, influencers, as you would. So Tesla became this cool car, but at the same time, car culture, we're gonna have to see where it all goes. Because I will say though, if I ever mention an EV on this channel, a lot of people get butthurt for some reason. Like, guys, I'm just talking about it. I'm not saying it needs to replace combustion motors. Calm down. Ferrari F40, McLaren F1, basically any JDM due to their stupid fan base. Okay, Bugatti Veyron and Chiron, 918, LaFerrari, P1, 0506 Ford GT, 2017 Ford GT, and Lexus LFA. He said hot takes, this is just plain Dude, I wrote what I think are the most overrated cars of all time. Okay, look, most of those cars, I don't think they're overrated, I'm sorry. But basically any JDM due to their stupid fan base. So what fan base in particular? That's just so broad. What makes that fan base stupid? That's what I wanna know, because I like JDM cars and I like muscle cars and I like some European cars too. I'm able to hold the peace. I don't know what this is. But I will say though, the F40, look, I'm not a huge fan of Ferrari as a brand. I think they're a bunch of douches. But McLaren F1, come on, dude. It's an incredible car. All motor going over 200 mile an hour, super light chassis, incredibly innovative. The Chiron, like I understand the Bugattis because it's like the stereotypical expensive car. I'm not a huge Bugatti fanboy. I think they're neat, but I'd much rather have like a Koenigsegg or a Pagani for that money. The 918, not overrated, incredible car. LaFerrari, I wouldn't know, never drove one, so I'm not gonna judge it. With the 0506 Ford GT, I've literally never heard a bad thing about that car when it comes to the driving experience, not a single bad thing. And the 2017 Ford GT, I drove it, definitely not overrated. That car is freaking incredible, and it won Le Mans. So how's that overrated? And Lexus LFA, okay, kind of. Okay, I'll agree with that one. There's 500 of them and it sounds cool. That's about it. The R35, sure, it was amazing when it come out, but the car hasn't changed much since. Okay, it's very interesting you brought that up. I actually have a video coming out soon all about the R35 and how I think its time has pretty much passed in car culture from the first year it came out and everybody was blown away. And now when you see one, you're just like, cool, it's a GTR, that's kind of neat. It doesn't have that same effect it used to because it's been almost 12 years. But I will say though, I've never gotten emotionally attached to an R35, not a single time. Subaru. I will never understand. Any USDM S13, you have to get rid of that KA to do anything decent. The price just ain't worth it anymore. That being said, I absolutely love the way they look. Okay, I will say the S13 especially is an overrated car. It is. I have 2 of them. Yeah, I still have that other one. The point of the matter is, I don't think you need to get rid of the KA anymore. The technology is caught up to where, hot take, but I don't really like the SR20 that much. I know that's sacrilegious to say, but after driving really well-built KATs, I think they're way more fun. I think their torque is way better. It hits a lot harder. And to be honest with you, every SR that I've driven has had way more problems than the KAT cars. I know that's a very big contradiction to what people say online, but that's my experience. S13 as a car, completely overrated. You can get a much better car for the money nowadays. Do not go buy an S13 for like 10 grand. You will make a big mistake unless you're collecting it, but to actually drive it, no. Subaru STI, make no power and owners believe they can beat anything on the street. 10K equals 400 horsepower. I agree with that one. I'm not gonna go into it, but the amount of money per dollar per horsepower with the Subaru gang, not worth the money. And a bunch of my friends who even run Subaru shops say, if you want to go in a straight line, pick something different. If you want to do everything else like handling, stay near stock, enjoy the car, Subarus are great. I think they're amazing, but they do have really inconsistent quality control with their engines. I have never understood the appeal of post-2000 VW. They've always seemed more like an appliance than a driving experience to me. Okay, I like the Golf R in particular when it comes to VW, but I will be honest with you, I am surprised how in-depth the VW scene is. And that's not me saying in a negative way. I just have a hard time understanding like people being an enthusiast about like a 1.8T Jetta. Does that make sense? I respect it because it means you could pretty much like anything. But there's a lot of VW owners I've met that VW is the only way. Like it's the only car. And that just has always fascinated me because there's better platforms out there. Subaru FRS BRZ 86, low horsepower, even boosted, and everybody wants to wide body one. Yeah, I will say though, I had this sentiment for almost 10 years, to be honest with you. I did not think they were worth the money. I still don't think they're completely worth the money. At the time, you could buy Smurf, like my 2013 Mustang GT, for the same price as a BRZ. Literally, you're getting 4 times the wheel horsepower almost. And look, horsepower is not everything. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying when you drove them back to back, you're like, why is this so freaking slow? I had a Honda Odyssey pull on me in one, and that's how I really knew. But when you get in the mountains, you start to understand it more. But it wasn't until I slid one. It was when I started to slide one around, I started to understand the appeal of the car. It's very easy, just chuck in, throw it around, and have a lot of fun. And you don't really notice the low horsepower as much because you're just having a great time. But would I pay 30 grand for one? No, Absolutely not. Besides, I think the ND Miata is a little more fun to drive anyway. Any Maserati, Bentley, and Land Rover. After driving various models of each, I'm not impressed. Look, I could rant about Maserati all day long, but out of all the premium car companies, they have given me the worst experience. I had a Maserati Ghibli for a week in Europe, and I drove Stelvio Pass and did all this cool stuff in it. What a piece of oh my God, the car is terrible. Like, everything inside is like hard plastic almost. A bunch of stuff's borrowed from the Dodge Dart. Not a higher up Dodge like a Hellcat or something. No, the Dart. And along with that, it has creaky plastic on the dash. It didn't drive very nice. It was unstable on the highway. The steering wheel made you do the Lego hands, like it was too chunky. You just didn't have good stability on the Autobahn. It was just, oh, such a nightmare to drive. That car was junk. And honestly, the Alfa Romeo Giulia is a much better car. Like, much better car, and it's a very similar drivetrain and everything like that. So if you're looking at the Ghibli versus the Giulia Quadrifoglio, Giulia all day long. Cadillac of any kind, because it's a rebadged Chevy. You just described every major automaker's entire lineup. That's true, I understand Lexus, Toyota, Lincoln, Ford, that whole type of thing, but that's just funny. All right, you guys, that's it for today's hot takes. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button and also recommend another topic that we can fight about. Put it down in the comment section below. I'd love to do this again. And at the same time, I upload on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. If you would like to support this channel, make sure to head over to PattersonCarCare.com. It is my own original detailed product brand made right here in the US. It helps me a lot. It helps you a lot because you can clean things like your wheels in no time. It makes life so easy. And on that note, I'll see you guys next time and have a wonderful day.